This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Prime.
$1,000 by Ola, $600 by Snapdeal, $550 by PepperTap, $800 by Housing.com. The list goes on. Since August 2015, India's startup ecosystem has handed out pink slips to over 9,000 employees. And on this episode of Heads Up, we are about to decode why startups conduct these mass layoffs, how their ex-employees are reacting, and what industry experts have to say.
A year and a half is a long time in the life of an entrepreneur. 2 years ago, entrepreneur Harshdeep Rapal thought he had everything going for him when he started Easy Meals, a food tech service for home-cooked meals. But 6 months later, reality struck and struck hard. The startup had to let go of most of their team of 20 people.
We thought that as the volumes pick up, the margins would improve, but that was not the case, and that was a harsh realization. Yes, to execute a different model, we required a different set of people, so we had to let go of the current team.
Fast-paced growth meant startups burned cash at rapid rates. Last year saw a funding crunch and startup investments struck by 28%. Internet businesses took a beating and the workforce is bearing the brunt of poor decision-making and rapid expansion. The founder of India's third largest e-commerce platform, Snapdeal, spoke of mistakes made and lessons learned while reaching the edge of the cliff as the company laid off some 600 people. Fashion portals Yepme, Tolexo and Craftsvilla have similar stories to tell, as does Stayzilla, a homestay startup. Yet here in the heart of India's startup capital, there's not much sign of panic or despair.
In the heart of India's startup capital, here in Koramangala, several startups have shut down over the past 1 year, while others have opted for layoffs. But entrepreneurs still have optimism left in them, many saying the fundamental of the ecosystem is still intact.
Yes, to a large extent, these are all exaggerations if you ask me in all honesty. See, as with any industry, there is always a cycle which every industry goes through.
If you overhire, you have to lay people off, right? So it's a natural phenomenon.
So while it may be too early to write off India's startups just yet, the coming months will be a key test for entrepreneurs. In Bangalore with Harish Upadhyay, Riyal Meda and Natasha Jog, Yash Chawla, NDTV.
To shed some more light on employment in India, I am now standing with Dr. A.D. Singh, who is the Secretary General of FICCI, an industry body of business and commerce in India. Thank you for joining us, sir. So to begin with, I'll reference a report that FICCI released last year that talked about how 100 million jobs will need to be created over the next decade, because that's how many people are going to exit the education sector and into the job market. So what kind of scope do you see for these 100 million jobs being created?
You know, for every country around the world, jobs is the big issue. Jobs is a big issue, and there are trends around the world which are happening, for which governments around the world are trying to find solutions, trying to find answers. I don't know if there is a final answer, but attempts are being made, and I think very, very correctly and very wisely, to address this issue in a matter that makes it better. In India, for example, you're quoting from the report that the FICCI took out on basically talking about what the future of particularly startups and that area is going to be, and the people that come out of the education sector, so where are they going to find their jobs? Of course, there is this government's policy of trying to, push manufacturing so greater amount of jobs can come in there. But at the same time, that our services is doing better, and that we're running a major skilling program in India. So all of this combined together is what should make for a better environment for employment. But is it the only solution? I'm not so sure.
Okay. And so since you bring up startups in this report, there was a line in the report that said there is a need to address bottlenecks and minimize failures and ensure that startups graduate to become scale-ups. Now, this is a very interesting point, for startups to become scale-ups. So what scope is there for startups to scale and have the enough mentorship investment that is required for them to scale in this ecosystem?
Startup is a is a wonderful, nice word and term, and it's very nice that we are focusing on that. The world is focusing on it, and India, as you know, has emerged as the third largest startup area around the world. But basically, what does it mean? Basically, it means commercialization of technology.
Yes.
It means that you actually bring enterprise and convert ideas into business.
Right.
FICCI's been working in that area for more than 10 years now. We've been running the Innovation Growth Program. We've been running something called Millennium Alliance. All these are attempts to ensure that good ideas actually convert into business. We've done about 800 companies now that have been done in the last 10 years, worth a value of about almost $1 billion US. So that's their contribution to the economy. Now, in this, you are absolutely right. A startup cannot remain a startup. It must scale up to become an enterprise which is sustainable and viable. The one thing that you will see coming out again and again is that India has tremendous potential. India has tremendous potential where if we put our might down to productivity, to a higher growth, which we are seeing 7% plus, if all of that begins to happen and is actually happening, there is going to be more job creation. There is going to be different businesses that occur, which will hopefully help solve or at least address that problem in a better manner.
Absolutely. So it's interesting because when startups, in 2015, when the startup boom was happening, job creation was one of the top lines that we heard, that startups are going to create jobs. But what we've seen over 2016 is that over 9,000 layoffs have happened in the startup ecosystem. And automation that is being developed is also going to lead to further job loss. So is this growth a jobless growth? Is this a paradox we're looking at?
You know, this is an issue that you're addressing which is across the world. It's not an India issue. They're talking about Industry 4.0, which will look at how new types of technologies will take over business around the world.
Absolutely.
So to address that again, FICCI is doing a report on 4.0 where we are concentrating on skills.
Okay.
Because the future is multi-skilling, multitasking. So the skills that you need is not just one particular area, but a series of areas which are connected into a whole ecosystem.
Absolutely.
And the same thing, I believe, applies for business.
Okay.
I think 4.0 is something that is coming, but it will take some time to come. At the moment, we need to concentrate on 3.0, which is basically what? Which is basically making business conducive to the 21st century. And in that, you will see new areas emerging. For example, e-commerce. It emerged in the last 4 or 5 years. And look at the amount of job creation that gave you.
Right.
The whole logistics sector. As infrastructure increases, the whole infrastructure sector, the building sector, construction sector, manufacturing sector, services sector. So all these are new jobs.
Absolutely.
And so we have to look that, yes, as the world and business changes, there will be job losses because that's part of how mankind is evolving and how business is evolving. But probably there will also be new businesses which will create the extra jobs.
Absolutely. So I'm actually going to request you to break that down a little bit for us. So when you say that these job losses are going to happen as a result of digitization or automation, does that mean blue-collar jobs are going to be replaced due to automation, or do we also see managerial positions? Do we also see high-up white-collar jobs? What kind of services and what kind of sectors are going to see these job losses?
You know, nobody can point out sectors and exact job losses, exact levels. It's going to impact at all levels, but you're seeing it already. You are seeing that manufacturing in China, manufacturing in the US and Europe has led to some changes in jobs, some outsourcing of activities. And similarly, you're talking of job losses in the BPO sector, which artificial intelligence is sort of replacing. But this is just the point that I'm trying to make, that as these sectors change, there will have to be other matching sectors which will come in.
Right.
Now look at the whole Make in India program. Now if the Make in India begins to happen, and it is happening in several areas with a large amount of FDI now coming into India, you create entire supply chains. You don't just do one part of it. That's what Make in India means. It means make the entire supply chain in India. Now if that begins to happen, you create so many linked jobs. Let's take something like tourism. Tourism may have actual jobs which are only one, but the linked and subsidiary jobs may be 5.
Right.
So these are the kinds of sectors which can and will happen, and the bottom line to all of them is good business and good growth. So if we continue to be 7%, 8% plus, we will see jobs matching that growth.
Absolutely. And so in terms of policies like Make in India, the government has done a lot to push Make in India as well as Startup India. But if you look at the manufacturing percentage, for the first time in 7 years, the manufacturing percentage in India, the growth rate has actually contracted. It used to be 12% 7 years ago, and now it's minus 3.9%. So if schemes like this need more of a push for manufacturing to grow, what is going wrong with the policy that we've seen this contraction?
You know, again, it's not something that you can say is happening only in India. You see this around the world. Manufacturing is beginning to see a lesser amount of growth and probably a reduction in the amount of jobs it creates. That's happening in China, it's happening in the US, it's happening everywhere.
Absolutely.
Now, this is just the point I'm trying to make, that we cannot look at only one sector or only one area, and we cannot even look to manage individual sort of ivory tower economies. It doesn't happen like that. We are a globalized economy in a globalized world, so we have to look at connectivity and forces around the world that are happening. And so for that, like for example, let us take infrastructure. If you improve your infrastructure, not only do you improve domestic manufacturing, but you improve the linkages for import and export.
Right.
And immediately what does that do? Immediately that brings to you a much larger market, which you then connect up with lower logistic costs. Lower logistic costs means more profit means growth, more profit and more growth means more jobs.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much for speaking with us, Dr. Singh. Last month, the e-commerce player Snapdeal removed 600 workers from different positions across the country, and these layoffs have been continuing since the beginning of this year. I'm now sitting with Mr. Salim, who was one of these factory warehouse workers who has also been laid off last month. शुक्रिया सलीम जी. तो सलीम जी, आप हमें बता सकते हैं कि आप स्नैपडील के वेयरहाउस में क्या काम करते थे?
मैं स्नैपडील के वेयरहाउस में क्वालिटी चेकर था, डीओ था. वहाँ पे जो हमारा आइटम आता है वेंडर से, उसको हम चेक करके अपने इन्वेंट्री में रखते थे सर.
अच्छा. और जब आप यहाँ काम करते थे, कितने समय से आप काम करते हैं यहाँ से?
मुझे लगभग 6 महीना होने वाला था और 6 महीने से मैं वहाँ पे काम कर रहा था जी. 4 सितंबर 2016 की मेरी ज्वाइनिंग है मैम.
और इन 6 महीनों में आपको कुछ तकलीफ हुई थी वहाँ? आपको बताया गया था कि आपका परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा नहीं है या आप काम अच्छा नहीं कर रहे हैं, ऐसे कुछ हुआ?
नहीं मैम, कुछ नहीं बताया गया. वो कह रहे सब ओके ठीक है, मुझे कोई कारण बताया नहीं गया. कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं थी, खूब सही था मैम. वो तो मेरी मिसेज बीमार हो गई, 2 दिन के लिए मैं उनको ESI हॉस्पिटल ले गया था. उसके बाद जैसे मैं 2-3 दिन बाद वहाँ कंपनी गया, मैं जा ही रहा था बस में, मेरे सुपरवाइज़र ने बताया कि सीनियर एग्जीक्यूटिव थे मेरे, उन्होंने बोला आपका तो नो एंट्री कर दिया गया है. मैं वहीं से वापस आया. फिर
आपके अलावा और भी लोग थे जिनके साथ ऐसा हुआ है?
हाँ मैम, 20-30 लोग और हैं. फिर उससे पहले 20-30 और उससे 1 महीना पहले निकाले गए थे. फिर दिवाली ऑफर ख़त्म हुआ था, उसमें 171 बंदे निकाल दिए गए थे. 171 बंदे.
और ये जो बंदे थे वो आपकी तरह क्वालिटी कंट्रोल करते थे या दूसरे भी काम करते थे उस वेयरहाउस में?
हाँ, उसमें कुछ हमारे डिपार्टमेंट में थे, कुछ क्वालिटी चेकर थे, कुछ पैकिंग वगैरह करते थे, कुछ इन्वेंट्री, सबसे मिलके 20-30 बंदे उन्होंने निकाले हैं जी.
और जब आप निकाले गए थे तब उन्होंने ऐसे कुछ बताया कि 1 महीने के लिए काम कीजिए, उसके बाद आप निकाले जाएंगे, या कुछ सैलरी तनख्वाह ऐसे कुछ भी दिया आपको, या बस ऐसे ही नो एंट्री करवा दिया 1 दिन में?
नहीं मैम, हमें 1 रुपया नहीं मिला, कुछ नहीं दिया और वैसे ही नो एंट्री कर दिया हमको. ना ही हमें बताया गया कि आपको हम उस तारीख से निकाल रहे हैं, जब से हम निकालेंगे आपको. तो उसके लिए हम भी अपना कोई दूसरा कहीं पे कोई इंटरव्यू वगैरह देते, कुछ करते. अचानक उन्होंने बताया कल से आपकी नो एंट्री है.
और ये 1 महीने पहले की बात है, तो उसके बाद आपने काम ढूंढने की कोशिश की है?
हाँ यस मैम, करिए. मैं डेली जाता हूँ, रिज्यूम अपना बायोडाटा लेके कंपनियों में ट्राई करता हूँ, लेकिन कहीं पे कोई भर्ती वगैरह नहीं चल रही है और फिलहाल मैं बेरोजगार हूँ, खाली हूँ.
आपके जो दोस्त हैं जो आपके साथ स्नैपडील के वेयरहाउस में काम करते थे और उनको भी निकाला गया है, तो उनकी क्या हालत है, उनका क्या सिचुएशन है?
मैम, जिन्हें निकाला गया है वो अभी तक नौकरी की तलाश में घूम रहे हैं इधर उधर. अभी उनको भी नौकरी नहीं लगी है और मुझे भी नहीं लगी है मैम. फ़ोन पे हमारी बातचीत होती रहती है, कहीं पे कोई आपका नौकरी लगी, वो भी बोलते हैं नहीं लगी है, और परेशान है वो भी और मैं भी परेशान हूँ.
शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए सलीम जी. Despite having a contract with Vulcan Express, which is the Gurgaon-based warehouse of Snapdeal.com, Salim was laid off after working there for 6 months with no notice or salary compensation. Salim, who has a Bachelor's of Arts degree, still has not been able to find a job after 1 month of looking.